Today, we're going to be talking about weight loss, specifically why you can't stay motivated to stay on track with your diet. So many of my clients who are trying to lose weight come to my office and let me know that they've been restricting this food, they have to cut out that food, they're hungry at the time, they're just frustrated that their weight is just not budging at all. The truth is, to lose weight, we do have to be at a calorie deficit. This means we have to expend more energy than we consume. The issue here is that most people assume that being on a calorie deficit means that you have to be eating diet foods and feel constantly hungry all day long. This is by far the biggest misconception when it comes to weight loss. Losing weight does not mean you have to restrict yourself. The problem with restrictive dieting is that it's not sustainable long term. When you view foods as either good or bad, it sets you up for either being 100% on track or 100% off track. Instead of treating food like a switch, we should see it more as a spectrum where we have some foods that are more nutrient dense than others. This way, there's less pressure on you to always choosing the right option. You could totally fill up on calories with bowls of macaroni and cheese, slices of pizza, and diet soda and still come out on a calorie deficit. But I guarantee you'll probably feel a little bit sluggish, tired, and just lack of energy. I really want to help demystify the notion that eating healthy is bland, boring, and unexciting. So to do this, I'm gonna share with you 2 weeknight dinner recipes that you can pull together in advance and store in your fridge for up to 4 days. Both of these recipes are also a perfect balance of your carbohydrates, fiber, fat, as well as protein. So this allows you feeling satisfied after each meal. These recipes are also delicious and so decadent. And I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. Here's a quick glimpse into the 2 recipes we'll be making. First up is a maple Dijon oven roasted pork with squash and cauliflower. The very first step is to marinate your pork loins. This is really crucial to liberally salt and pepper both sides of the pork to allow it to have time to tenderize while we prepare the rest of the vegetables. Here we are slicing up the shallots into thin pieces. A quick tip I have for preparing cauliflower is always use the tip of your knife and slice through the stem end as opposed to from the floret down. The reason being is that if you use your knife and cut through the florets, you'll end up with tons of cauliflower snow. Now that the vegetables are prepared, it's time to create the marinade. So into a large bowl, combine your Dijon mustard, maple syrup, and avocado oil, along with the finely chopped sage. Mix well and then season with salt and pepper. Next, it's time to toss in all the ingredients. This will include your butternut squash and shallots, cauliflower, and of course the pre-marinated pork loins. Use your hands, carefully toss everything together and place onto a lined baking tray. Spread out the vegetables so there's lots of room for the heat to circulate evenly. And just like that, it's time to place into the preheated oven. 30 minutes later, we have our maple Dijon oven roasted pork with butternut squash and cauliflower. It's now time for a second recipe of squash noodles tossed in a butter sage sauce. The first step of this recipe is creating the squash noodles. This is really important and you have 2 options here. You can either spiralize your own, just as I've done here, or you can purchase them in the grocery store already pre-done. So once you have your squash noodles prepared, it's time to make the butter sage sauce. So into a saucepan, add in your butter, sage, as well as your garlic. Here I've used a piece of my garlic puck, and again the recipe will be below. And then you're gonna be letting the butter melt until it gets golden brown. Pour the melted butter into the bowl with your squash and toss to coat. Then place onto a lined baking tray and place in the oven for about 10 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Meanwhile, it's time to cook up the ground turkey. So into your hot pan, add in your ground turkey, season with salt and pepper, and cook until it's no longer pink inside. While the turkey is cooking on the stovetop, it's time to prepare the kale. Wash an entire bunch of kale and slice it as fine as you can and place it into a large bowl. Once the turkey meat is cooked, transfer it into the bowl of the kale. The heat from the turkey will slowly wilt the leaves. The final step to this recipe is tossing all the ingredients together. Carefully take your squash noodles and toss it into the bowl with the turkey and kale. It's really important to use a large bowl. As you saw, I had to transfer it to a bigger bowl so I can toss everything neatly. And voila, it's complete. Squash noodles enrobed in a butter sage sauce with kale and ground turkey. So remember, losing weight doesn't mean you have to restrict yourself. Rather, plan ahead and create these irresistible weeknight dinner recipes such as the maple Dijon oven roasted pork recipe, as well as my butternut squash noodle enrobed in a butter sage sauce with kale and ground turkey. Both these recipes can be made in advance so that you have dinner ready for the busy week ahead. So until next time, relish every bite.